physical AI. It's really about autonomous robotics. I mean, this is now what I view as the consumer AI revolution starts in terms of physical AI. And I think what you saw with Nvidia, they're laying out end-to-end platform on autonomous. We've talked about it's why we're so bullish on Tesla, given robotaxis and the autonomous sort of vision there. But this is the next stage of AI, but it's all fueled by the godfather of AI, Jensen Nvidia.
I looked, Dan, and Wells Fargo reducing their overweight. They stay overweight on Microsoft from whatever it was down to 665. Down the income statement into the earnings season, Dan Ives, with you with a 625 outperform on Microsoft. Where in the financial statements is the important point for Microsoft earnings?
I mean, I think it's about Azure and cloud growth. To put it into context, I mean, you're talking about the highest margin business that I believe the street's underestimating probably by 10 to 15% this year. And
Right.
you're talking about, I think the street's ultimately underestimating about 25 billion of incremental growth from a cash flow perspective. We're talking about 15 billion that I don't think is factored into street models from Microsoft.
Right. Well, they're modeling 15% revenue growth. So are you saying down the income statement is the underestimation of Microsoft?
Yeah, I think it's underestimated from a growth perspective on cloud and underestimated in terms of what we see on cash flow. And the reality is the enterprise AI revolution, it all starts in Redmond and Nadella. And the street is underestimating what this means for Microsoft.
Dan, one of the things I heard from CES and Nvidia, they launched this Alpha Mayo platform. Tell us what this is, because this gets a little scary for some people, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like you could say it's reasoning or really AI meets autonomous. It's an end-to-end platform that Nvidia is basically laying out as their answer for autonomous. It's really something that ultimately better than the human driver.
Right.
And I view it as just like what Tesla's doing on robotaxis, just like what we're seeing on autonomous. Nvidia is going to be a supplier from the chip perspective, but also they're going to play an end-to-end platform play as well.
Dan Ives with us this morning with Wedbush, a celebration in just under 1 hour. He will stand at the New York Stock Exchange with his wonderful ETF. It's really done well in the vectors from, as Gartman would say, from the lower left to the upper right as well. Dan, I want to switch to Apple. I was just in Paris, and I'd never been to the Tuileries, to the Musée Orangerie, it's called, which is those lovely, simple, quiet Monet paintings of the water lilies, sterile, quiet. And I witnessed there, Dan Ives, and I thought of you, packed tourists, many, many from the Pacific Rim, holding Apple iPhones in their hands, taking photos, taking selfies, doing YouTube-y stuff in front of the quiet of Claude Monet of 1890, his gift to the nation at World War I. Explain, Dan Ives, what I witnessed. Where are we in 5 years with the use of the iPhone?
Look, and I think it's all about the AI coming to the Apple ecosystem. We've talked about this is going to be the year of AI for Apple. I mean, you're talking about what? 1.5 billion iPhones in the world. I mean, 2.4 billion iOS devices. It's about when you look at this next stage for Apple, it's going to be the most important stage as they go into this AI revolution and they monetize that install base. That's going to be front and center. And it's why it continues to be one of our top picks. And in my opinion, underestimated in terms of what the error that they're hitting when it comes to AI.
Dan, I know we kind of knew this CES was going to be all AI centric here. As you talk to investors, are you sensing any AI fatigue that maybe it's played out, or boy, it's hard to handle these valuations, or boy, the numbers are getting so big? What's the conversations you're having with clients about just the AI theme?
Paul, I think when the time we spent there with Nvidia and Jensen and on the floor, you cannot come away thinking that there's an AI bubble. I mean, we're still in the early days of playing out because you see what's happening on embedded devices, on the chip releases, obviously some releases through AMD and others. And I think it's not fatigue. I think investors are starting to realize that this next stage of the AI revolution is now taking hold.
Dan, help me here with this. Paul mentioned CES. Where do the smaller AI companies fit in? Are we going to, like Perplexity, are we going to see M&A this year for all of these names like Claude and the rest that I don't understand? Are we going to see an AI roll-up?
I think you're going to see a lot of acquisitions, strategic financial acquisitions in terms of tech. We talk about robotics. That's one of our favorite areas. Names like Serve Robotics is a good example. Look, and the reality is that it's an arms race that's playing out. It's going to be a lot of acquisitions, a lot of consolidation. And I think that's why it's just going to be year 3 of an 8 to 10 year build out of the AI revolution.
Right. When did you get into tech stocks? Like, were you sitting in the student union? I've sat in the student union at Penn State. Were you out at State College one day and the light shone down Dan's eyes and there's this epiphany, wear bright clothes and follow tech?
I think, look, I mean, obviously it started in my Penn State days. I have a lot of Penn Staters here at the bell ringing. But I think, Tom, to me, it was really in the late 90s, starting to cover internet. It was the recognition that it was going to be the start of what's really going to be a 40, 50-year tech build-out. And I think what we're seeing today is just the next stage of that. It started in State College, and obviously, you know, I'm super happy that investors have supported me along the journey. Dan,
so what's the key issue, pushback, if any, from your clients these days? Is it valuation? Is it just I've made my money, I'm taking it off the table here? What's the pushback?
Yeah, I think valuation, circular financing. Is there a too big to fail moment? OpenAI, Nvidia. I think those are some U.S.-China trade negotiations, tariffs. But look, to me, it's like we'll have these white knuckle moments. But like I said, I think tech stocks are up 20% this year. But it's as we get into earnings season in January, and you get more into CapEx, you get more. I think that's going to be the key of this next stage.